Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Razzie award-winning movies.
I fought worse monsters than you for years in Hollywood. I know how to win the hard way.
For this list, we'll be looking at certified stinkers that the Golden Raspberry Awards have resoundingly trashed over the years. Any of these you think gets a bad rep? Play devil's advocate in the comments. Number 20. Howard the Duck. We're obviously living in the golden age of Marvel movies now, but things were looking pretty touch and go back in the mid-80s with the release of Howard the Duck.
How the hell am I going to explain a manhunt for a duck?
It's a duck hunt.
Hanson, please, don't start. Please.
The movie was, and still is, universally derided. Its preponderance of duck-themed puns and the suggestion of a human-duck relationship aging even worse in the decades since.
Howard, you really are the worst.
It rightfully earned all 4 Razzies it was awarded, including Worst Picture, Screenplay, Visual Effects, and New Star for those operating the incredibly stilted Howard. And honestly, it probably could have won Original Song for the titular track at the end. All in all, Howard the Duck is a quack catastrophe. Number 19. Wild Wild West. Speaking of worst original song, Will Smith and Wild Wild West won for its own titular track, but we'll let you be the judge of that one.
When I stroll into the Wild Wild West, when I bounce into the Wild Wild West, Cisco.
Smith picked up another honor for Worst Screen Couple alongside Kevin Kline, and the movie rounded things out with accolades for Worst Screenplay, Worst Director, and Worst Picture.
Gordon, when you're telling this story to your grandkids, you make sure that you leave this part out.
Don't worry.
There's probably some campy fun to be had in there, somewhere, but many would argue that the Wild Wild West we got is flimsy, bizarre, and honestly, probably even hornier than Howard the Duck.
It's nice having her on board. She's a breath of fresh ass.
Pardon me?
What?
You said ass.
No, I didn't. I said it's nice having her on board. She's a breath of fresh air.
Whereas Wild Wild West won 5 Razzies, The Matrix, the movie Will Smith passed up to star in, won 4 Oscars, putting the movies at almost exact opposite ends of the spectrum in awards consideration. Number 18. Basic Instinct 2. Speaking of bad, horny movies, Basic Instinct 2 is, well, bad and horny. Whereas the first movie can be enjoyed for its trashy, erotic thriller vibe, the sequel gets nothing about the formula right, falling directly into pure schlock.
Don't take it so hard. Even Oedipus didn't see his mother coming.
Funnily enough, the first movie was nominated for 3 Razzies, including Michael Douglas for Worst Actor. But whereas that one came home empty-handed, the follow-up netted 4, including Worst Actress for Sharon Stone.
You don't seem too upset by what's happened.
Of course I am. I'm traumatized.
Stone also picked up a nomination for Worst Screen Couple for, well, we actually don't want to say. Suffice it to say, though, the Razzies can get pretty mean with some of their categories. Number 17. Movie 43. How an anthology movie with this many talented people involved can be so bad is beyond us. Seriously, the actors include, but aren't limited to, Halle Berry, Anna Faris, Chris Pratt, Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet, Kristen Bell, Jason Sudeikis, Emma Stone. You get the idea.
Back, you son of a bitch, you take it back!
Though they tried to elevate the god-awful material, they were doomed to get nominated for Worst Screen Combo. Who won, you ask? Will Smith alongside son Jaden for Afterworth.
I can get across. I can do it with just 2, Dad.
This mission has reached abort criteria.
I take full responsibility.
Movie 43 somehow squeaked by with only 3 Razzie wins, including Worst Screenplay, all of them, Worst Directors, all of them, and the coup de grace, Worst Picture. Honestly, the Razzies should have invented another 40 categories for this to win to keep it numerically appropriate. Number 16. Striptease. Though Demi Moore has had a long career, it was arguably never the same after Striptease.
We ever met before?
No. But actually, I have seen many beautiful photographs of you.
She picked up 2 Razzies for her performance, Worst Screen Couple alongside Burt Reynolds, and Worst Actress. Though she shared the latter prize with her turn in The Juror, it's probably this one that's doing the heavy lifting.
I love you girls. I really do. But I can't be working here when I go back to court. Oh yes, Your Honor, I found a new job.
The movie wasn't spared in many of the other categories either, also nabbing Worst Screenplay, Worst Original Song, Worst Director, and Worst Picture. The only trophy it didn't take home was Reynolds for Worst Supporting Actor. But he was going up against Brando for The Island of Dr. Moreau, so that's understandable.
I understand that I must be shocking to you.
Number 15, Mommy Dearest. Now, here's a movie that's probably not as bad as the Razzies would have you believe. Though, to be honest, it ain't that good either.
What's wire hangers doing in this closet when I told you no wire hangers ever?
Mommy Dearest stars legendary screen actor Faye Dunaway as another legendary screen actor, Joan Crawford, depicting her fraught relationship with her daughter, Christina. It sounds like something more suited for the Oscars, but alas, reviews were not kind, with many criticizing its dramatic efficacy.
Why can't you treat me the way I would be treated by any stranger on the street? Because I am not one of your fans!
Dunaway received Worst Actress for her efforts, as did Diana Scarwood in the supporting category. Not only did Mommy Dearest win Worst Picture of 1981 too, but in 1990, it won Worst Picture of the Decade, even beating out our old pal Howard. It just goes to show, nothing in Hollywood is a sure thing.
If you can't do something right, don't do it at all.
I'm sorry, Miss Crawford.
Number 14, 50 Shades of Grey.
It's just beyond this door.
What is?
My playroom.
Like your Xbox and stuff?
Despite the franchise earning over $1 billion at the global box office, the 50 Shades movies have a fair amount of detractors, including the Razzies. While the 2 sequels took home 3 such awards combined, the first outdid them with a whopping 5 on its own. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson each took home 2 for Worst Actor and Actress respectively, and Worst Screen Combo. As fine actors they've grown to become, their accolades here are unsurprising considering the general lack of chemistry between them.
If you just signed the contract, you wouldn't have to think
Why do you
about
care so much about the contract, Christian? Don't you like me the way I am?
The movie also won for Worst Screenplay and Worst Picture, the latter of which it actually shared with the Fantastic Four reboot, which we're not gonna argue.
Alright, it's clobbering time!
Number 13, Freddy Got Fingered. With a title like that, you gotta know the Razzies would be all over this one. For a while, from the mid-90s to the early 2000s, Tom Green looks like a serious up-and-coming shock comic. But that all came to a screeching halt with the release of Freddy Got Fingered.
You're nothing. You've always been nothing, and you will always be nothing.
Dad.
God, I've never been so ashamed of anything in my life.
Very little of its humor lands, and can seldom be enjoyed more than in a Schadenfreude beautiful car crash kind of way. Naturally, Green won for actor, director, screenplay, and screen couple alongside any animal he abuses. True to his persona though, Green appeared at the ceremony to accept his awards, saying, "When we set out to make this film, we wanted to win a Razzie, so this is a dream come true for me."
Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Number 12, Swept Away. While the Razzies will often split an actor's single nomination between multiple bad movies, it's not often that an actor wins 2 different awards for 2 different movies.
Do you mind? I think I've come undone.
In addition to earning Worst Supporting Actress for Die Another Day, Madonna also won in the lead category that year for Swept Away, sharing the honor with Britney Spears for Crossroads.
I worked really hard to be the valedictorian.
Of course you did.
Well, why didn't it feel like anything?
It also turned out to be something of a family affair at the ceremony too, as Madonna's then-husband Guy Ritchie won for Worst Director.
Are we being punished because we're rich? Is that the problem?
No, madam. I love money.
A remake of the mediocre yet much better 1974 Italian movie of the same name, Swept Away certainly found itself stranded amidst a slew of the wrong kind of awards. Number 11. Saving Christmas. The Razzies aren't above getting political with their nominations, and that can sometimes extend to faith-based films. While Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas definitely has a specific target audience in mind, it's hard to argue with the shoddy filmmaking craftsmanship across the board.
You're all wrong.
About what?
But everything you just said.
I said a lot.
Yeah, and it's all wrong.
Poorly acted, shot, edited, scored, you name it. Saving Christmas is the equivalent of Nog that's long since gone bad. In addition to Worst Picture, Cameron picked up Razzies for Worst Actor and Worst Screen Combo alongside his own ego.
S-A-N-T-A. Rearrange letters. Satan. Santa, Satan. Same letters.
Right?
Right. Coincidence? Yeah.
It sometimes makes you wonder who's coming up with these nominations, but in this case, we're not really ones to disagree. Number 10. The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn Part 2. Surprisingly, The Twilight Saga only picked up one Razzie prior to Breaking Dawn Part 2, but like the Oscars did with The Lord of the Rings, the Razzies saved their awards onslaught for the final installment. Indeed, Breaking Dawn Part 2 won a whopping 7 such trophies, including Worst Picture, Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, Worst Director, and Worst Screen Ensemble. As for the lead actors, Taylor Lautner won for Supporting and Screen Couple alongside Mackenzie Foy as Renesmee, which probably has to do with their characters' unconventional relationship.
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
It's not like that. You think Edward would let me live if it was?
Still debating.
Kristen Stewart shared Worst Actress with her performance in Snow White and the Huntsman, whereas Robert Pattinson was spared Worst Actor thanks to Adam Sandler in That's My Boy. Number 9. Showgirls. With so many erotic movies on this list, you gotta wonder if the Razzies have something against sexiness. Then again, Showgirls really is something else.
Thrust it! Thrust it! Come on, thrust it!
While the movie has developed something of a cult following since, most wouldn't defend its campy nature and oddly scripted characters. Though it could have been Saved by the Bell star Elizabeth Berkley's big screen break, she instead got a slew of negative reviews and Worst Actress for her troubles.
You don't know shit!
Meanwhile, Paul Verhoeven won for Worst Director, and actually became the first recipient to attend the Razzies and accept the award in person. Unfortunately for him, the Razzies apparently didn't remember the classy gesture, and instead labeled Showgirls Worst Picture of the Decade once the 90s were up.
Life sucks, you know?
Life sucks, shit happens. Where you get this stuff, off of t-shirts?
Number 8. I Know Who Killed Me.
It's okay, it's me.
I know who killed me.
Lindsay Lohan was quite the movie star back in the 2000s, but if any single movie derailed her career, it was definitely this lame thriller. In I Know Who Killed Me, Lohan plays identical twins, and the Razzies, never missing an opportunity to make fun of someone, awarded her Worst Actress twice and Worst Screen Couple with herself. That's not where the creativity ended, however, as the institution also gave the movie Worst Remake or Ripoff on the grounds that it was a ripoff of Hostel, Saw, and The Patty Duke Show. In case any of you Gen Xers and younger are wondering about that last one, it's an old sitcom about identical cousins, which honestly makes more sense than I Know Who Killed Me.
Look at this house. This life that your daughter had. Why would I pretend to be some loser if this was all mine, huh?
Number 7. The Emoji Movie. This was the animated travesty everyone saw coming from a mile away. And while we normally wouldn't recommend judging a book by its cover, we were absolutely spot on with this one.
Sweep so you won't cry. Sweep so you won't cry. Sweep so you won't cry.
Whereas some movie concepts have done a lot more with a lot less, the Emoji Movie is essentially a slapdash of better kids fare with a far less convincing presentation. Of its 5 nominations, the Emoji Movie won 4 in the categories of Worst Picture, Director, Screen Combo, and Screenplay, making it the first full-length animated movie to do so, let alone be nominated in those categories. Honestly, if we had to describe this one using a single emoji, it'd be the smiling piece of poop.
Did we wash our hands?
No. We're number 2.
Number 6. Catwoman.
You boys thought you could come in here and steal all these beautiful things? What a perfect idea.
Much like Howard the Duck forever made people apprehensive about adapting the character in live action, Catwoman may have irreparably damaged the prospect of the classic comics character receiving a solo movie ever again.
Game over. Guess what? It's overtime.
It's a bafflingly imperfect mess, and more than deserved its awards for Worst Picture, Director, and Screenplay. One bright spot that came from the superhero super disaster, however, was Halle Berry making like Paul Verhoeven and Tom Green before her by accepting her Worst Actress statuette in person. Not only did she appear with her Best Actress Oscar in tow, but she gave an acceptance speech that's probably a better performance than her Catwoman one.
I never in my life thought I would be up here winning a Razzie!
Honestly, it only makes us love her more. Number 5. The Last Airbender.
So, are you the Avatar Ong?
The Last Airbender is the movie that pissed off an entire fan base like no other. Not only does it get basic details like characters' names wrong, but it's resoundingly unexciting, wasting a $150 million budget on some of the most underwhelming visuals you'll ever see. Once on top of the movie world, just a decade before, M. Night Shyamalan's career reached a new low with this one, and his awards for Worst Screenplay, Worst Director, and Worst Picture were just the raspberries on top. Oh, and remember that sole Razzie win for Twilight prior to Breaking Dawn Part 2? Yeah, it was shared in conjunction with Jackson Rathbone's performance in this one, but we think we all know which movie really earned it.
I don't think that's a good idea. We started a rebellion. Try to talk him out of it.
Number 4. Cats.
Good evening, all.
Oh no, look what the cat dragged in.
Talk about wasting a big budget on bad effects. Easily one of the worst movie musicals ever made, Cats was the definitive crappy movie of 2019. And for the Razzies, it was like, well, catnip. The film, if you wanna call it that, led the pack with 9 nominations and 6 awards. Though we wouldn't have been surprised if the whole cast was singled out, James Corden and Rebel Wilson specifically were crowned in the supporting categories.
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
Meanwhile, Tom Hooper, who'd won the Best Director Oscar for The King's Speech less than a decade prior, got the Razzie equivalent for this one. Oh, and it goes without saying that Cats was also Worst Picture. Obviously.
That's what I say to you, okay?
Number 3. Geely. Now this just might be the Cats of romantic comedies. Granted, some good did come from Geely in the form of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's relationship, which we've seen the return of in the 2020s. But nowhere is there real-life chemistry to be found here.
In every relationship, there's a bull and a cow. It just so happens that in this relationship right here with me and you, I'm the bull. You're the cow.
Naturally, Affleck and Lopez both picked up Worst Actor and Actress respectively, with the former sharing the award with his performances in Daredevil and Paycheck. But again, this is a Geely award all the way.
She thinks I'm beautiful.
Yeah, she's blind in one eye.
Affleck and Lopez also won for Worst Screen Couple, and the movie cleaned up with wins for Worst Director, Screenplay, and Picture. Honestly though, if the Razzies had been aware of The Room back then, Geely might have been spared.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Number 2. Battlefield Earth. Forget The Last Airbender. This was the epic movie franchise that never was. Why? Because the first and only movie is absolutely terrible.
Crap, lousy ceiling! I thought I told you to get some man animals in here and fix it!
A passion project for star John Travolta, Battlefield Earth is an adaptation of the novel by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. Unfortunately for all those involved and anyone who witnessed it, that passion didn't pan out. Travolta split a Worst Actor award with his performance in Lucky Numbers and Worst Screen Couple with any other Battlefield Earth actor.
I've wasted my time, haven't I?
Sir?
If you're going to lie to me, at least have the decency to do a credible job, so I don't look like a complete idiot for having tried to train you.
The movie obviously won Worst Picture. Retroactively, it also won Worst Drama in the Razzies' first 25 years in existence and Worst Picture of the decade. This brings its total to 9 Razzies, which was a record until our number 1 entry. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Holmes and Watson. This hugely disappointing Will Ferrell-John C. Reilly team-up earned all 4 of its Razzies.
It's a type of a self-photograph. I can take it, and I will be in it also.
You know what? I find to take the most attractive photographs, you need to purse your lips together like a duck-billed platypus.
Platypus face, chins up.
Cocktail. Alongside Rain Man, Tom Cruise remains the only actor to appear in the Best and Worst Pictures in the same year.
Please. I don't want to end it this way.
Jesus, everything ends badly. Otherwise it wouldn't end.
The Love Guru. The Razzies didn't kill Mike Myers' career, but they didn't help.
It's a problem. Even Jay-Z had 99 of them. And the bitch was not one of them.
The Postman. This forgotten Kevin Costner flick cleaned up at that year's Razzies.
You're a godsend. A savior.
No, I'm just the postman.
Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. The first sequel currently leads the franchise with 3 Razzies.
I am directly below the enemy scrotum.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Jack and Jill.
How we doing? Where were you? I've been waiting forever for you. This place is creeping me out.
Whether or not you think another movie on this list is more deserving, Jack and Jill is statistically the most hated movie in Razzie history. Not only was this gratingly unfunny family comedy nominated in all 10 categories, but it won 4 each, becoming the first film to do so.
Don't forget your sweat shadow.
What?
All right, just take your bath and all that stuff and then burn those sheets.
Not only did Adam Sandler win both Worst Actor and Actress as the titular twins, but he was also recognized in the Worst Screen Couple, Screenplay, and Picture categories, bringing his individual total to 5. Though the Razzies neglected to award a Worst Picture of the 2010s, we all know what it would be.
Burn this.
I'm sorry?
This must never be seen by anyone.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.